Alright, now watching this show called Lady L'Amour. My bad, Lady Voyeur. It's 10 episodes. We're going to cover the first episode. They're about 35 minutes apiece. Let's get it. So basically, we got this chick named Miranda. She set up a lot of stuff on the web. She can do computer hacking, all this type of stuff, right? She spends her time watching her neighbor across the street, this lady by the name of Khloe. Let's just say she has a lot of clients. Basically on some prostitute shit. All the equipment like handcuffs, ropes, like all types of stuff, right? When the clients come through, they pay and then they get down to business. There's one particular client that she likes. They call him Mr. Friday. Because she doesn't know his name. Turns out his name is Fernando. Miranda is kind of infatuated with Fernando. Now, next day, her homegirl Rita comes over. She's telling her about her boyfriend this, boyfriend that, and all that good shit. But Miranda really doesn't have a life, and she just stays in her apartment. Then we find her one day going out. She's about to go visit her grandma. Grandma starts spazzing out, but let me explain why. Grandma had this type of disease. It induces paranoia, schizophrenia, but more importantly, she has a series of Alzheimer's. Now, the thing is, this disease was inherited in her family. And when it comes to her situation, she could possibly pick it up by the time she's 30. Oh, by the way, she's 28 right now. So we see her outside one day. I guess she's going to the market, whatever like that, and she ends up running into Khloe. Now, how does she know Khloe? Because one day she ended up helping her out fixing her computer and stuff like that. And Khloe's got this little dog by the name of Barbie. Apparently, this dog Barbie don't like nobody except for Miranda, my bad. So then we get this scene with this dude by the name of Hector, who's running these tests with the doctors, right? Come to find out, the daughter that he has is not his biological daughter. He just found out he's not the father. Now, why'd he find out so late? Because his daughter looks like she's about 8 or 9 years old. Now, he has a wife by the name of Diana, and she comes off very cold to him, like, all the time. She didn't really show him any real love. So in the back of our minds, she manipulated him into thinking that the daughter was his. But clearly, after he found out the test, she's not. So then we see later on that night, Miranda ends up watching Khloe again, and once again, Mr. Friday comes through and lays the smack down some cheeks, aka Fernando. Now, next day, Khloe ends up coming over to Miranda's house, and she basically needs her to babysit her dog Barbie, because she's going out for a weekend to this millionaire spot or whatever like that, and she's going to get it popping. So Miranda basically uses Khloe's apartment so she could watch the dog. And she's so happy to be in there, she's just mesmerized by everything. Then all of a sudden, the doorbell rings. Now it's a Saturday, but she looks through the door, it turns out it's Mr. Friday there, Fernando. So Fernando comes in the door, and then she's like, look, I'm not Khloe. But then he puts on a charm, he's like, you're definitely beautiful, and I'll pay you whatever you want. But this is like a dream for her because she always wanted to see what was up with Fernando. And they end up getting it popping. She ended up getting laid the smackdown, getting the cheeks. Afterwards, Fernando gives her a shit ton of money. And he's like, yeah, I definitely want to see you again. You know what I'm saying? So afterwards, he basically leaves. And then somebody else comes knocking on the door. Some old man that already paid. And then she's trying to tell him, like, look, I'm not Khloe. But then he basically tries to force himself on her. And then Fernando's coming back up thinking to himself he probably forgot his wallet or something. So he hears the commotion comes through busting in the door. But before he can stop anything, Miranda pushes the old man down. He ends up breaking his neck. I'm like, oh shit, this nigga's dead. So Fernando's like, look, I'm going to clean this up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to handle it, get it done. But first, she got to go back to her apartment, making sure she erases all the tapes, the data, and everything like that. So Fernando, on the top of that, is intrigued by her computer skills. And this is going to be important later on. I'm going to tell you why. So then we go to this hotel, and we see Khloe, whatever like that, getting ready. So who is this mystery millionaire she's going to see? Turns out, it ends up being Hector. I'm like, oh shit. But before they could do anything, Diana comes through busting in. So Diana's pissed off, and then she just storms out. Hector follows her, and he basically tells her he wants a divorce. So she's basically like, I'm going to take you to court. We're going to run all this stuff down. But the whole time we're thinking to ourselves, Diana doesn't know that Hector knows that the daughter is not his. Back in the room, he's pissed off. He's struggling. And the thing we didn't realize that Khloe didn't leave. So she ends up giving them the business, doing everything and all that good shit. Now, while Miranda's waiting for Fernando to come back, she looks up some things on Fernando, whatever like that, his Instagram or his Facebook or whatever like that. It turns out Fernando's got all these pictures with Diana and the kid. I'm like, what the fuck? Then we get this flashback to Hector punching some dude, ends up knocking him out and throwing him in the pool. Turns out that dude ended up dying in the pool. Now, who's the guy in the pool? Not sure yet. So Fernando tells Miranda everything is done. He meets back up with her. And then we find out that Diana is actually his sister. And obviously the daughter is his niece. So why is he telling Miranda this? Because him and Khloe are actually working together to try to take down this prostitution ring or whatever the fuck is going on. And Hector apparently runs the shit. So once again, why is he telling Miranda this? Because he probably needs her skills to help out the situation. So Fernando later on takes Miranda to go meet Hector. Now towards the end of the episode, we skip to 3 months later. Before we can get to that part, when Miranda was talking to her grandmother, she kept telling her mom would come see her later, whatever like that. And grandma's like, you're lying. This is when she was spazzing out having her episodes. But grandma was on to something because apparently Miranda's mom was killed. And she had flashbacks about this because her own sister was telling her it was her fault. I'm like, what the fuck did Miranda do to her mom? So now we skip ahead to 3 months later. Miranda's on the balcony talking to herself, talking about the 2 men she ever loved and one of them's dead. And then she keeps blaming herself as all her fault. So I'm like, what 2 men is she talking about? Then all of a sudden, some dude in a masked hood or whatever like that comes choking her to death. And we can't see the guy in the hoodie or whoever's choking her. And then the last thing we see is this guy just flips her over the balcony. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's the first episode for you. I am definitely intrigued how all this shit is going down. Bottom line, like I said, it's 10 episodes, 35 minutes apiece. And we're going to see what's up. Lady Voyeur on Netflix. Check it out.